All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about the Carolina Panthers because this team has had essentially an A-plus offseason. I don't think too many people are talking about it. People are aware that they got Von Bell, they got Hayden Hurst, they got Miles Sanders, but there's a big plan going into place right now, and I think it's because the draft hasn't happened yet that outside of Panthers fans, like mainstream NFL media isn't really talking about this team. They're doing a phenomenal job and they have the first pick in the draft. I genuinely think DeAndre Hopkins in a couple of days, maybe a week from now, will also be a Carolina Panther. We'll talk about all this in today's video, but before we do, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. Panthers fans, love covering this team. I'm excited for the offseason. I'm excited for the draft. And let's try and get this video to 500 likes. That would be absolutely awesome. Appreciate it. And I look forward to hearing what you guys say down below. Now, most recently, we saw Miles Turner, 4-year, $25 million contract. I absolutely love this move. I think it is brilliant. I was a little bit skeptical about the Panthers running back room, not in the sense that I didn't trust who they had. It was more so I was thinking if they were going to get a veteran free agent, I didn't think it would be Miles Sanders. I give this move at least an A- here. Last season alone, 1,268 yards and 11 touchdowns. When Miles Sanders is healthy, he is an absolute unit, and that's exactly what he was with Philadelphia last season. I also loved yesterday's move signing Hayden Hurst. I think Hayden Hurst is one of the most underrated tight ends in the National Football League. He battled like brief injuries for Cincinnati last season, and you could tell their offense took a hit. It wasn't anything crazy like statistically because Cincinnati was still a great team. They went on that massive winning streak to end the season, but the offense wasn't flowing as well as it was when Hayden was out there. Hayden Hurst was a brilliant move, and I like it because Carolina, I think they're going to win the NFC South. Like, I thought they were going to win the NFC South before they even made a lot of these moves, just because I like the team direction. I like Frank Wright. I like Deuce Staley. I think, honestly, with Miles Sanders, Deuce Staley was the Lions running back coach. He's now on Carolina. Detroit's running room they had a career year last year. Jamal Williams, DeAndre Swift, it was the best running season for that team, that franchise, in the longest of times, like maybe even 20 plus years. So I love that even more because of Deuce Staley. But Hayden Hurst, the Panthers signed Andy Dalton to a 2-year, $10 million contract, and I like it. I feel for Matt Corral, but at the same time, they lost Sam Darnold, who a couple of weeks ago was looking like the day one starter. I'm thinking, man, it really could go either way. It could be Bryce Young. It could be C.J. Stroud. My prediction is still Anthony Richardson is a Carolina Panther, but I know a lot of Panthers fans don't really agree with that. I know a lot of people in general don't really agree with that. I think Anthony Richardson will be a Carolina Panther in 6 weeks, whenever the draft is, at 5-6 weeks at the end of April. But you got Andy Dalton on a 2-year, $10 million contract. Regardless of what rookie QB it is, I love the move, like seriously love it, because it reminds me even of the Chicago Bears when they drafted Justin Fields. They ran it with Andy Dalton to start off that season. I like getting a veteran guy, and I like giving him weapons. I think this wide receiver core, even after DJ Moore got traded away, I think the Panthers wide receiver room is underrated. I think they have a lot of potential breakout players. Once again, I think DeAndre Hopkins will actually be a Carolina Panther soon. Something interesting is Deshaun Williams was a signing earlier today, or maybe it was late last night, and he was the Broncos defensive tackle last season. He's 30 years old. He had 15 total starts for their team last year. He had 4.5 sacks. And I saw a tweet from Mike K, and it was, Deshaun Williams went to DW Daniel High School with Cardinals DeAndre Hopkins, and they also played together at Clemson. Also wide receiver coach Sean Jefferson is very close with DeAndre. I wouldn't be surprised if they used pick like 39 and a compensatory pick to acquire DeAndre. When I mention this, people worry about the price. DeAndre has already said he is down to renegotiate the last couple of years of his contract to make it happen. DeAndre Hopkins will be traded away by the end of March, 100%, no questions asked. And I know it's not really floating out there in the media world like at a crazy rate right now, but trust me, probably next week, if DeAndre still hasn't been traded, that's when it's going to begin. Because DeAndre, when he's healthy, is still a top 3 wide receiver in the National Football League. And I can only imagine, you let Andy Dalton battle it out with whoever you take at number 1. Unless your rookie first-round pick has a phenomenal camp, he has a phenomenal preseason, it'll probably be Andy Dalton for at least the first half of the season. But still, if you surround him with guys like Miles Sanders, Hayden Hurst, DeAndre Hopkins, maybe another veteran wide receiver, all your young possible rookie wide receivers, but all your young wide receivers in general, I think, and this is a great coaching staff, by the way, top to bottom, but especially on offense right now. I love what they're doing. That is, in the NFC South especially, I think that is the blueprint to at least a 500 season. Carolina was a dumpster fire, no disrespect, for the first half of the season last year, and they still finished 7-10. They still finished basically a quarter away from taking down Tampa Bay and having a home playoff game. So it's awesome. Speaking of defensive tackle signed, they also signed Saints defensive tackle Shai Tuttle to a 3-year, $19.5 million deal. The Von Bell, Shai Tuttle, they re-signed Shaq Thompson. You also, Deshaun Williams. They're making a bunch of moves, and it's only Thursday. It's only Thursday afternoon right now, so they're continuing to make these moves. I absolutely love it. Like I said, I think a veteran wide receiver is going to be the next move. They're building up this defense, which is a great idea because it still is a young and hungry defense. There's a lot of talent on this team, and they're trying to find their culture. And that's what's going to happen next season under Frank Wright and your rookie quarterback and this young, promising defense. They are so close. I really think this team is a lot closer than some people may give them credit for. There are serious playmakers, even guys that they acquired recently or last offseason, CJ Henderson, Xavier Woods. They've been making incremental additions to this team, both sides of the football, and I think it's going to begin to come together at a more rapid rate this upcoming year. And like I said, the offseason isn't even done yet. We're not even a week into the offseason as far as free agency is concerned. So I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say. I am especially curious to hear what people want with DeAndre Hopkins. I think for a lot of teams, the DeAndre Hopkins move is something where you hear it and teams can get a little bit skeptical, and they're like, he's aging. He's had injury issues, which, by the way, when he is on the field, he is still just as dominant as he was a couple of years ago when he was arguably the best wide receiver in the National Football League. People hear the age or they hear the injuries, they hear the money, and I think people get turned off a little bit to it. All of that is going to be water under the bridge to whatever team actually acquires him. And I think Carolina, they're loaded up. They've got draft capital, and they've got a lot of talent surrounding both sides of the football. So it's going to be a fun year, and we're going to cover it all off season. I try to make a couple of Panthers videos every week. So if you guys wouldn't mind, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you guys are new and you enjoyed the video. Most importantly, let me know what you are thinking about this offseason thus far for Carolina down below, and I'll see you guys